Hey guys, it's day number 22 of my 365-day Jimmy Ice Bath Challenge. Rolling along, you guys, doing this ice thing every single day. For those of you that are brand new, I get into 32-degree temperature water, aka icy water. Big ass pieces of ice chunks in there. And I stay in for 5 minutes each and every day. I kind of go live around 5 p.m. Eastern time on Instagram. Today, a very balmy 32.6 degrees Fahrenheit for the temperature of the water. And so I come on here, I get in the ice bath. You'll see me go in here in a minute. I will breathe for about a minute and a half to try to calm my body. And then I'll talk to you about a topic. And the topic I have for you guys today is going to blow your mind. If you are on the fence about getting in an ice bath or doing cold therapy, just you wait till you hear what I have to share today. This is going to blow your mind. Let's just put it this way. You know how they say there's nothing better than ... you fill in the blank? Oh, there's something better. You're about to find out. So let's go, says Matt. So let's go, man. Let's sit you down here. Tilt down the camera. You guys know the drill that watch me every day. Thank you for being here, by the way. It's nice to have support when I freeze my tushy off. And maybe some of you people are sadistic and like seeing me suffer. So 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get this show on the road. And here we go. Okay, you guys, so I came across a video today, thanks to my friend Brittany. Shout out to Brittany, my co-host on the One Step Deeper podcast, as well as the co-author of the upcoming One Step Deeper journal, The Foundations. She is a TikTok fan and a half. She is a young millennial, so she loves hanging out on TikTok. So she was on TikTok today, and she found a video from one of my favorite cold therapy advocates. You guys probably know Andrew Huberman from Huberman Labs. They did research, and they looked at the brains of people who ate chocolate, people who had sex, people who engaged in exercise, and people who did ice baths, along with, I think the other category was people who did crack cocaine. And what they found was people who consumed chocolate got about a doubling from baseline of their dopamine levels. Same with sex, a doubling of dopamine levels. With cocaine, they had about a 4.5 times spike in their dopamine levels from baseline. And he said, believe it or not, when you get in an ice bath, one of the benefits you get from being in the ice bath is a very, very similar spike in your dopamine as doing crack cocaine. Now let that sink in for a moment. Obviously, crack cocaine is very dangerous, very addictive. and then eventually you crash. But what Andrew Huberman was saying was you get all the benefits of the dopamine release from the ice bath, but without the crash. Isn't that fascinating? You want to be improving and stoking dopamine. That's the feel-good hormone. And everybody's seeking dopamine whenever they're doing alcohol, drugs, sex, all these other things, chocolate. You're trying to get a dopamine hit. Who knew getting in an ice bath produces a great, not just dopamine hit, but a sustained rise? In other words, when I get out of this and I tell you about how good I feel subjectively, that I start feeling great, I got great mental health benefits, I start having a clear mind, all these things, that's the dopamine slowly going up. And so, wow, how cool is that, you guys? Yet another reason why you should consider doing cold therapy. It's why I'm a big fan of getting that water on your head, which I'm about to do here, 15 more seconds, because you will get that dopamine. And look, we all want that dopamine hit. What better way, if this is the thing that gives it to you the most, than an ice bath? All right, let's come up. Woo. Woo! You guys know you love hearing me go woo when I get out of that. Del Norte says, I need some dope. Yes, the most natural dope you can possibly get, my brother. Isn't that fascinating, though? Everybody is always looking for a hit, right? In their life. This is why so many of us got addicted to sugar. That also gives you a dopamine hit. And other refined carbohydrates. It's why people turn to drugs, turn to alcohol, turn to sex, turn to all these things. And isn't it amazing? We turn to all these things that are harmful to us. Why? Because we seek the dopamine. And yet, you can still get the dopamine. You can not be harmed. And then you get the added bonus of, oh yeah, cold therapy does a lot of other things physiologically, mentally for you. To me, it's amazing because we're not educated very well on what we're actually seeking. When we reach for refined carbohydrates, for example, we're not craving carbohydrates. Thank you, Del Norte. Del Norte just got a badge. There's this new little thing. It's got a little heart thing down there. If you want to support my work and you love seeing me get into cold water every day, hit that little heart thing down there. That's called a badge, and you can buy a badge. So thank you for that, Del Norte. But cold therapy, guys, it gives you all the benefits that you're looking for with all those other things that you reach for to get a hit, to feel good, except you keep feeling good. All those other things, you feel good in the moment, and then you crash. Think about it. Sugar and refined carbs, sex, we could go down the line. Drugs, alcohol, all those things. In the moment, yeah, they make you feel good. You relax, you chill. But then you crash. And so if what we're seeking out is dopamine, I'm not saying ice bath is the only way you get that. You also can hug people. That's a good dopamine thing that is healthy. So you get the dopamine response from that. There's lots of things that you can do that are positive. And exercise is another one that you can get a dopamine hit. This is why you hear them talk about a runner's high. That's the dopamine kicking in. And again, that gives you good benefits. But cold therapy is right there with it. And so I hope that these videos that I do showing you me getting into the ice bath and then teaching you little concepts like what you learned here today, it kind of puts it a little more ensconced into your head that this is something that is incredibly good. And I know it looks incredibly scary. It looks incredibly hard. And yes, it's hard. I don't know how scary it is, but it is hard. Although I will tell you, about an hour ago, I was like, oh, I got to get in the ice bath in an hour. And there's always this love-hate relationship because I am not scared. What's the word? I'm hesitant because I know that initial getting in there is so freaking hard. But then I'm excited because I know the right now time, which is what I'm feeling right this moment, is being out of the ice, having done it for 5 minutes in 32-degree temperature water, and how I feel at this moment. My hands are starting to come back. I can feel the buzz. I can feel those dopamine levels just rising, and I feel fantastic. And it's going to continue. When I cut off the Instagram Live with you guys, I'm going to dry off. I'm going to change into some dry clothes. I have to run to the store for something. And I did this the other day after the ice bath, and I was just like, whoa, like you just feel so good after being in there. That's the dopamine, you guys. And how amazing is that? How amazing can we do something as simple as just expose our bodies to colder temperature and get this? All right, let's see what you guys had to say while I was in there, if anything. Betts says, 22 days. Glad you're doing great, Jimmy. Ice baths is better than crack any day. Yeah. Yeah, I've never done crack cocaine, but I mean, I've heard the stories about the high that you get. And I always thought, okay, is there a way to get that high without the crash afterwards? And yeah, hugging, kissing, exercise. There's so many things you can do. Spending time with loved ones and doing fun stuff, which I hope some of you guys are doing here on the weekend here. There's so many ways to get it, but an ice bath, how easy. Pop in, get cold, get out. You got the benefits. And I can literally feel that dopamine rising 4 to 4.5 times above baseline, you guys. Is that not worth it? Is that incentive enough? Now, I know some of you are like, I don't know if I want to freeze my butt off just to get a dopamine hit. Well, this is why you work your way up. This is why you slowly add in cold therapy. Start with warm shower, get colder, then put ice in the bathtub, and then get fancy schmancy like Jimmy has with this Morozco Forge. The woo always makes me smile, says Linda. Yeah. I try to have fun with this. Oh, thank you, Betts. Betts just got a badge. Appreciate that, sweetie. Del Norte says, are you testing your glucose? Since I've been getting morning sun, my sugars have dropped. No, and let me tell you, I've been at this game for 17, almost 18 years now. And I stopped doing most of the testing. And it wasn't that I thought they were invalid. It's just I had done them so long that I was becoming numbers driven in my own health journey. And it's never been about numbers driven. It's about, how does Jimmy feel? How are the things that I'm doing, like ice baths, producing results in me? Do I feel better? Do I sleep better? Am I starting to see any changes physiologically? Am I seeing changes psychologically, mentally? Those are the things that are a lot more important than to me. But to your point, Del Norte, I'm sure my glucose and my insulin levels are getting better from this, simply from the lowering of the inflammation that takes place, which we talked about the other day. But yes, getting exposure to sun, grounding yourself, all kinds of things can bring those sugars under control, and I'm glad to hear that's what you're seeing for yourself. Are you still taking your temperature, says Sharon. Well, Sharon, let's do that now. And let's see what it is. And then I'll answer your question specifically here in a second, so hang on a minute. So 99.4. I've been out of the tub about 10 minutes. So those of you, a few weeks ago, when I kind of first started doing these, I pulled out the thermometer and I was like, watch what happens, you guys. Because you think you go into the ice bath and your body temp will be low. Well, what happens is, yes, when you're in there, your body temperature is being challenged to go lower, but because your internal body systems have a mechanism to keep you safe, it starts raising your temperature. So 99.4 would be considered a low-grade fever, but I'm not feverish at all. What I am is warming up. And what's going to happen here in a second is maybe my baseline was 98.6, 98 point, whatever it was, 98.7. Now it's 99.4. It might go up a little more, but what will happen is at some point my body will start shivering. And that shivering is what will release more of the thermogenesis that will warm me up. And that shivering, and I'm doing that by design, saying it that way, that's what's causing the metabolic improvements, you guys. I don't know how it's related to the dopamine, but I'm sure they're all interconnected, because as your metabolic health goes, so goes your hormonal health, and dopamine is a hormone. So it is uncomfortable, but only temporary, says Bets. Yes. Look, you guys watch me. When I first get in there, the first thing I do is get my breath under control. Because, all right, let me describe as well as I can. I'm a communicator by trade, so maybe I can do this. So I press the start of the 5-minute clock, and I stick my legs into it, and you see me. I go straight down into it. Today I stepped right on a big chunk of ice that I had pushed down with my foot. And it was underneath my foot, and I'm like, oh God, please don't slip and fall on this right on the camera. Like, that's my nightmare, is slipping and falling right in front of you guys. And then I'm like, one leg up in the air, and I'm like, help me. So we don't want that on camera if I can help it. So, but yeah, I get my legs in there, and then I go all the way down trying to get to my neck with the water line. Today, I didn't quite go all the way down to the neck. I think I was about right here. And I immediately go, because your heart starts racing a little bit, not uncontrollably, but enough for you to go, okay, something's going on. And your whole body, you kind of feel it get a little tense, just momentarily. This is not something that's sustained. You're talking 5 to 10 seconds. And so that's why you're trying to slow down your breath. Now, you have to breathe hard and fast when you first get in, because it's intense, you guys, especially at 32 degrees. But then you see what happens over the course of the next minute. I slowly bring my breath down in the speed, and that helps so much. But yes, Bets is so right. That very initial can be uncomfortable, not painful, but uncomfortable. Good word for it. But when you've done it a little while, and now I've done 22 days in a row, it's not unexpected. So I go in with the expectation that first, 30 to 60, sometimes 90 seconds is going to be a bitch. And I just get through it, and I breathe it. And then, you guys, I'm comfortable enough to start talking to you on camera. So I don't know. That's a good trade-off to me. A little bit of uncomfort for a very short period of time to get these long-term benefits, especially the dopamine release, like what we talked about. Think about fasting the same way. Is it uncomfortable to fast? Yeah, when your body is used to eating and then suddenly you're not eating, it's uncomfortable, especially on day 2. Uncomfortable. But you get beyond day 2 where it's the hardest part, and then it becomes very comfortable. Same with keto. There's this adaptation period that when you cut down on your carbohydrates, especially if you come from a high carb intake and then you suddenly go low carb, your body's going to be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is not a good enough reason to not do something. Uncomfortable means, I wonder if it's uncomfortable forever. Let your curiosity be piqued. Withstand uncomfortable for a period of time. And those of you that are fearful of even a cold shower, I'm going to challenge you with this. If you are uncomfortable in the cold shower, you can't get out of it until 20 seconds. So let that uncomfortable happen. Breathe your way through it. while you're uncomfortable, but stay in it. Don't pull back. Don't turn off the water. Stay in it. 20 seconds worth of uncomfortable. Give that to me. Give that to yourself, actually. And if you do that, watch what happens. The uncomfortable will kind of start to shift to, all right, this ain't so bad. And then the, all right, this ain't so bad turns into, I kind of like this. And then I kind of like this goes, I don't want to get out. Now, you see the progression there? It went from what you thought was going to happen, uncomfortable, all the way over to this pleasurable thing. Guys, that's dopamine. That's the dopamine. And you want that dopamine. Survival mode with the coldness, says Sharon. Yes, just what I was talking about. Sharon, you know, it's always that hesitation when it first starts. I've been having trouble lately with my breaker to I have a tankless hot water system, hot water heater. And so when I'm in the shower lately, if I'm in there too long, I'll feel the water start to turn and I can feel that cold switch over. It goes from the hot water down to the cold water. So I have to go and trip the breaker. But before I do, I let that cold hit me just to kind of see. I mean, I do 32-degree ice baths. Cold water from a shower shouldn't be cold, right? And it's not. It's very comfortable for me to let that hit. But you got to get there. You got to build to that level where you embrace the discomfort for a moment so that you get the comfort of what you're looking for later from the dopamine. Heck yeah, says Bets. Sharon says, I like your challenge. Challenge accepted. Bet says you got it. So yes, guys, if you just joined in, day number 22 of my 365-day Jimmy Ice Bath Challenge. I am going into 32-degree temperature water every single day in the year 2022 for 5 minutes. Maybe when it gets a little warmer outside, because it's still super cold outside here. During the summertime, I might go longer than 5, but we'll see when we get there. But enjoying this, enjoying teaching you guys various aspects of cold therapy. Look up this dopamine response. Because when I saw Andrew Huberman talk about chocolate and sex giving you about a doubling of your dopamine from baseline, cocaine and ice baths on the same level, giving you a quadrupling of the dopamine, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Ice baths and crack cocaine are on the same level of the dopamine response, except the cocaine gives you a crash and the ice bath just does this little steady, and it's just steady, whereas cocaine gives you the big spike in dopamine, but the big crash, and you don't do well. Amazing stuff, you guys. I'm going to keep looking for these kinds of things and these kinds of statistics to encourage those of you that are doing the cold therapy, the cold showers. And don't give up on them, guys. Don't give up on them. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. I'm going to pop off of here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And I will see you guys again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 5 p.m. Eastern time, when we go back into the cold water yet again. So thanks so much for watching today, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.